You started in real estate right as the great financial crisis started. That's incredible. Did you find the process to be easy, or did things start crashing after you got your license and made it a little more difficult for you?
So the first listing I put on is uh, is when the market starts crashing. I have no idea what I'm doing. A couple things are happening. I do what I know best. Professional sports have coaches. Amateurs do it yourself ing. So I get a coach. I look at a
Can
company.
we say that again? Professionals in every walk of life have coaches, and amateurs think they can do it all on their own. Nobody will be as good as me.
Yep.
Sorry to interrupt. That is such an important lesson. Everyone needs to learn.
Yeah, no, that's why I have a coaching company now. I mean, thanks for the promo. So, and so I got a coach, put them, what else? Add a few hundred to a card at that point, doesn't matter. And what I haven't quite shared is that in my life, I experienced a lot of death and dying and developed patterns of extreme shyness as a result of that. I was a very quiet, terrified person because everything was in a shadow of death. And so I cried every night, relentlessly, because I had to speak to strangers. And so I had to overcome myself relentlessly every night. But I knew two things. I knew that I knew what I wanted for my kids, and I knew what it would take to get there. So by 2009, I was the top 1% agents of US and Canada, never working on Sunday while homeschooling the kids. And all of a sudden, people started asking me, what's your secret? And this is really when I started deciphering unconscious competence and arrived at understanding how we are run by our subconscious programming. There were people brighter than me. There were people that were working harder than me. By golly, there were more optimistic people than me. This is before I healed my subconscious from doom and gloom and disaster, and I'm all sparkle of joy. This is when I'm like, yeah, life sucks and I'm a part of it, you know. So, but I had to find it and to redefine that. So yeah.
And she is a sparkle of joy. It is amazing how many things we all have in common. I had no idea Vika actually homeschooled her children. But of course, my wife figured that out. And that's the first thing we talked about. What other things did you do to ensure your children's success?
The biggest thing, I learned to ask for forgiveness. That's an advice for any parent that there is. No child needs an all-knowing parent that stifles their growth. And so when you mess up as a parent, which if you're a good one, you do daily because you
Hmm.
try new things daily, then you got to sit your kid down and say, forgive me. Not I'm sorry. Nobody cares about your state of being, and you're not a sorry being. So saying I'm sorry is poisonous. Fighting couples, you want to pour fuel into the fight, say I'm sorry. See the fire being doubled, right? But when you say forgive me, there's responsibility and the ask. So tell you when you mess up, don't hide, don't justify. Tell your kid, forgive me. Let me try again. You're going to empower them to do the same for the rest of their life. So that's number one, the biggest lesson that I think I can relate to. Number two, with my kids, teach them to learn. Don't teach them the subjects. My kids were smarter than I am by the time they were probably 3 and 5. I mean, they absorb everything from us and they build on it. And so teach them to learn through joy of learning. Observe them. What brings them joy? How can you use that natural propensity for joy to stimulate learning? Because once they have joy learning, and then you challenge them, I wonder whether you can tackle that one. They will learn anything. What we had is a system of return and report where I didn't teach them that subject. Unless I saw they hit their head on the wall, I would say, can you learn this and teach it to me? Why? Concept three, we learn best by teaching. And so most people are struggling in their relationship because they want to empower and pour what they have into a person versus pour out of a person. And so a lot of our kids are not learning because they haven't been taught to teach. Those are the three probably biggest concepts for both parenting and homeschooling that I found to be life-changing.
If you are listening to this, I have to imagine you're completely impressed with Vika. I am. I love talking to her. I'm so grateful she was willing to be on the show. And she has a free gift for you. If you go to mygiftoffer.com, and we will put that link in the show notes. So just go to the show notes and click on it. Or remember, mygiftoffer.com.